भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितैयतायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुचरणसरोजरज निजमनमुखर सुधारी वरनौ रघुवर विमल जशो जोतायक फलचार बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीश दीनु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी सुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरन विराज सुबेशा कांडल कुंडल कुंचित केशा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मुंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धर सिया दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय जीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस बदन तुम यस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा यम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाँ के कभी कोविद कह सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही किन्ना राम मिलाए राजपद दीन्ना तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्त्र जो जन फल भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मिली मुख माही चलती लांति के अचर जनाही तुर कम काज चकत के चेते सुखमानुग्रह तुम रे देते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे हो तन आज्ञा बिनु पैसार सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहो को डरना आपन तेज मारो आवे तीनों लोक हाकते कापे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम भजन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा है पर सीत जगत उजियार साधु संत के तुम रखवार, असुर निकंदन राम दुलार। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को भावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुवर पुल जाहि, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चितन धरहि, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करहि। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गुसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाहि। जो सत भार फाट कर कोई, झूठे बंधि महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महदेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरना, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहिता, हृदय बसो सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम। मंगल मूर्ति मारुत नंदन, सकल मंगल मूरनि कंदन। मंगल मूर्ति मारुत नंदन, सकल मंगल मूरनि कंदन। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो, गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो। गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो, गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो। गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो, गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो। राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो, राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो। राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो। हरि बोल, 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 हरि बोल। गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो, गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो। गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो, गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो। गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो, गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो। राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो, राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो। राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो। गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो, गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो। गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो, गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो। राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो। राधारमण हरि गोविंद बोलो राधारमण हरि गोविंद बोलो श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय.
Welcome to Satsang. I hope you're all joining us also on Mondays and Fridays for our new meditation that we've started. In addition to these divine satsang opportunities we have together on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays, we've also last week started Mondays and Fridays, a sacred sunset meditation. For those of you in America, it may be sunrise, but for here, those of us on the banks of Ganga, here in India, it's sunset. So, in addition to these times of satsang, join us also on Mondays and Fridays, same time, 6:30 in the evening, for meditation. Starting with a question that's come in advance, and then just to remind you, whatever format you're watching from, whether it's Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're watching, feel free to put questions that you have in the comments, and our beautiful team of divine beings in seva will see them and then ask them on your behalf during the satsang time. After many relationships, I've realized more and more that I'm incompatible with anyone, and it's difficult to be with someone in every relationship. I've had an intense desire for sannyas for a long time, and having a family never allured me. What are your thoughts? It's really important when we make decisions in life to move toward things rather than away from them. Now, obviously, sometimes there are situations that have to be moved away from: a burning building, collapsing situation, a hazardous environment. But when we think about a decision like taking sannyas, it should be something that we are moving toward, not because we don't find ourselves compatible with someone, not because we find difficulty in relationships, but because there's actually an active, exciting pull, a draw, like a draw of the drop to the ocean, like the pull of gravity, a pull that feels very natural, very right, very much exactly as it should be. a pull toward something. We don't take sannyas because we are fed up with the world, or we're tired or annoyed, or we don't like our relationships, or we were never very good at relationships anyway, or we are tired of, trying to make a living, or we weren't very good at making a living anyway. It's not that. It's not I'm not good at that outer world, therefore I should take sannyas. Sannyas is a calling, a dharmic calling of something within that says, my life, my dharma, my duty, my purpose, my meaning is going to be one in the most unencumbered, straight path to service and surrender. Because in a family, there's a lot of other pulls. There's a lot of other commitments. There's a lot of other attachments. And so in a family, sometimes it's difficult to decide, for example, do I sit for my morning meditation? Or do I make sure that my kids have had breakfast, or that my spouse has had breakfast, or my parents or parents-in-law have had breakfast? There's a lot of other pulls. And so the path of sannyas is a path of a clear, I don't want any other pulls, any other calling, any other distractions. As it is, the mind is a distraction enough. The ego is a distraction enough. My own ignorance, my own illusion is a distraction enough. My history is a distraction enough. All of it is distracting enough. I don't want to have more to distract me from my true path. I don't want to get pulled by a calling that says I should have this position in a company, or I should be making this much money, or I should build a bigger house than the people next door, or have a nicer car than the guys across the street. But a path in which I want to be able to dedicate every minute and every moment to surrender and to seva. It's the same thing, but different reflections of it. But it's not a path that gets chosen because we are not succeeding in a family life or in a business. It's not the worst case scenario of, didn't do the family things so well, didn't do the career things so well, I guess I'll take sannyas. In that case, what I would say is figure out what it is within you that isn't enabling you to actually have meaningful relationships. What is it in you that is stuck, that's keeping you from opening to someone, that's keeping you from trusting someone, that's keeping you from connecting with someone? Check that. Because sannyas is a path of freedom. And we can only choose the path if all other options are available to us. It's not a path of duress. And so make sure that all other paths are open to you, and then choose sannyas. Now maybe it's possible that your heart knows, that your internal self knows, that you're supposed to be a sannyasi. And therefore maybe the Maybe the mind, maybe the culture, maybe some vestigial desires or vestigial karmic drama keeps throwing you into relationships, but that internal pull, that internal dharma towards sannyas makes them not work out. That's also possible. And in that case, it's a matter of recognizing, all right, I understand where I'm supposed to go. It's like for me when I first came to this ashram and after I first had Puja Swamiji's darshan. Now I knew. I had been sitting on the banks of Ganga for a week in ecstasy. I knew this was where I was meant to be. But the mind still plays games. And as I walked out of the ashram, thinking still that I was going to go off to the mountains for a while and then maybe come back, my feet were glued to the ground, literally. Couldn't pick them up off the ground. It's a long story, actually a very fun story. But it's a story of, in short, literally, the calling of Dharma over both mind and matter. Physical matter, the body, there was no reason it shouldn't be able to walk. First, of course, I thought I had contracted some kind of disease, tetanus, polio, something. Stepped in crazy glue, stepped in quicksand. Then, of course, I thought it was something in my brain. The matter of the body was fine, the mind, brain was fine. But it was the call of Dharma that was stronger than both. That literally wouldn't let me walk out of the ashram. And so you may find when that call is strong enough that even if you try to be in relationship, try to live that life, that something in you just won't let it happen. And in that case, maybe the path of sannyas is absolutely the right path. But just make sure that you're moving toward it rather than something that you resign to in frustration because nothing else works. It should be a path you embrace with a full open heart, with full freedom, knowing that all other possibilities are available to you, but that this one holds the highest, deepest, fullest potential for your unfolding, for your awakening, for your enlightenment, for your freedom.
Hari Om Sadhviji. We have a question from Melissa Annette Pendleton. She asks, I'm an Ayurvedic yoga practitioner and coach. When I think of my next retreat or class, it feels like something has shifted, but I don't know how to fully come into the third way of being, life coming through me. It's not on seeking that I find my purpose, but it is through sharing or guiding. How do I cross that bridge? I love life, but feel like I shy away from serving. Service is my work, but is attached to income. When it's for free, I'm selfish with my time. Is that where the shift needs to happen?
So first of all, there's nothing wrong with making money. Money is a currency of energy that, for good or for bad, happens to be the currency through which most of the world operates these days. There are philosophies, theories, ideas, that perhaps it's not the best currency, that perhaps there might be a lot better ways of having societies of exchange, of having energetic exchanges that don't require an actual currency. But for now, at the current moment, where most of us exist, money is the currency of energy. So there's nothing wrong with making money. Never feel badly or guilty that you give something and in exchange you get something. What's important is the motivation and the intention. If the intention in giving is to get, then you are depriving both yourself and the one to whom you're giving of actually the gift of whatever it is you're giving. Because if what you are providing is a beautiful service, whatever it may be, through your Ayurveda, through your treatment, or through all of the different hundreds or thousands of possibilities of the different people listening, if that which you're offering unto the world, if you're doing it with an expectation, whether the expectation is you're going to get paid for it, whether the expectation is that people are going to love you for it, whether the expectation is that you're going to be appreciated or get anything for it, you actually deprive yourself of the greatest opportunity in the giving. You may still get the money, but that's a very small, very minuscule possibility of actually the gifts of learning to give. And so it's not about giving without getting money, but it's about giving without the receipt of money being the expectation. Because otherwise, I'm not really giving. Then it's just a contract. And if that's the case, all right, tell yourself, these are the things that I do just as a contract. And don't expect anything more from yourself for them. But giving, the possibility of giving, the act of giving, giving of ourselves, giving of our time, giving of our energy, giving of our experience, giving of our expertise, that is a gift. And the offering of that is not only a gift to the person you are giving, but it is a gift to yourself to be able to give. And so when you are offering, when you are giving, really ask yourself, are you able to enjoy the giving as the experience? Are you able to gain the experience of offering as what you're getting in exchange? That's the point. Whether you also get money because you need to put food on the table isn't the issue. If you need the money to put food on the table, by all means, charge for services. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with getting a lot of money in exchange for what you do, as long as the money itself is not the intention. Because otherwise you are cheapening yourself. You are putting a value, and in most cases a pretty small value, on you. So instead of that, realize that what you have is a gift. And in the offering of it, you give that. And you get the gift of receiving. So maybe charge for some, offer some without charge. But make sure that those that you're offering for free, even if it's just an extra 60 seconds, 90 seconds, an extra little something, make yourself give just a little extra something to those that you're doing for free, to have that opportunity of experiencing the gift that comes in giving for free. And don't even expect a thank you, don't expect appreciation, don't expect an I love you, you're the best. This in the Bhagavad Gita, when Lord Krishna is speaking about karma, destiny, the cycle of birth and death, the only way to free ourselves of the cycle of karma, the only way to actually experience freedom is to serve with absolutely no expectation of what you're going to get in return. And to serve without even the awareness of I am the one doing. All of the sense of, oh, they're going to love me. Oh, they're going to appreciate me. Even if it's not money I'm getting, it comes with the sense of me as the doer. Meaning I'm separate from the ones I'm doing for. It's me over here, separate being, serving you over there, separate being. This is illusion. This is ignorance. This is bondage. The freedom in service comes from realizing through serving you, I am having the opportunity, number one, to be just a vehicle, a vessel, a tool in the hands of the divine. You are giving me that opportunity. Number two, to experience myself in you, to serve you as if I were serving myself. And number three, to realize I am not the doer. It's not about me. I'm just a vehicle. And so I surrender the service. I surrender the action of serving into the space in which there is nothing but oneness between myself and the one I am serving. Or if there's not a specific being in front of me, my service may be stuffing envelopes, filing, designing, inventing, creating petri dishes. Things that it's more difficult to feel one with than a human being you may be feeding or clothing or educating. But the teaching is the same. It's an experience of oneness, if not with the being in front of you you're serving, then with the infinite experience of awareness and consciousness and oneness of all of creation. Experience that. Keep serving till you do. Keep giving, keep giving, keep giving, until that giving becomes its own reward, literally. It's not just a saying. It actually is what happens.
We have a question from Alessia Chiara. She asks, when I meditate, it feels like I can clear my mind from painful thoughts that bring me down. But then the painful thoughts and feelings come back, and I would rather not wake up so I don't feel it. I have nothing to look forward to and hope every morning that the day ends soon so I can sleep and stop feeling pain. What do I do?
sometimes pain requires looking at it. We can't always meditate it away, wish it away, pretend it away, read it away. Sometimes things actually require being looked at to heal them. This is where psychology and spirituality come together. There's a lot within us that simply the act of meditating heals. Meditation gives us the experience of the fullness, the completeness, the infiniteness of ourselves, of the being of ourself that never was hurt, never was cheated, never hurt, never cheated someone else, never was betrayed, never betrayed anyone, never lied, never was lied to. It brings us into touch with that pure, identityless, historyless, storyless, pure awareness, that state of that bliss of just awareness. But we open our eyes, and it's a process of moving through the world as that. It's a lot easier to have that state when the body is still, the eyes are closed, there's nothing you have to be doing. You're able to have your awareness focused only on the breath, only on a mantra. It's a lot more difficult to hold that state of pure consciousness as you go about your day in different roles, playing so many different roles, different dramas, engaged in different tasks. And of course, the point of a spiritual path is never about don't do those things. It's always about bringing that awareness into those. And so part of that path is when I am in my body, when my mind is not just chanting my mantra or watching my breath, when I'm not able to maintain that full state of immersion in just expanded consciousness, what is that pain? What is it that arises? And sometimes, by the way, it arises even as we go into meditation. As we breathe, there are parts of us where the breath just doesn't flow. Parts that we contract. Things that arise in meditation that we feel ourselves pull away from. Those are the times the eyes open and we think, oh my God, I must have left the coffee pot on, and we jump up out of meditation. Or we think, oh, I've got way too much to do today, I can't be meditating. These are things we have to look at. And sometimes simply meditation isn't enough. Sometimes it actually requires looking at that pain, understanding it, analyzing it, all the things that we don't do in meditation. All that introspection, all that insight, all that looking within. Meditation isn't the right time to do it, but that should be done if there's pain. And so what I would suggest is that you find a modality in which you can look at that pain, understand it, heal from it. Maybe begin by journaling. Journaling is a wonderful process. Just write, but write like no one will ever read. That's the point. It's not about writing for someone else. It's write like no one will ever read. Let that pain write. What does it have to say? What's its story? Why does it keep coming up? Why doesn't it want you to be free? Why doesn't it want you to be in joy? Let it write. And if you need some assistance through some kind of therapy, some kind of psychology, get it. It's a wonderful field. And it goes very nicely together with spirituality. Sometimes it gives us some beautiful insights that then in our meditation we're able, when it comes up, to just let it go. Because we already know what it is. And so the pain doesn't have the hold on us. But just like you can't meditate away a broken bone or an infected abscess in your physical body, but actually you need to get it treated. You need to get the bone reset. You need to get the abscess cleaned and treated. In the same way, sometimes we have pain that needs to be cleaned and treated. There's nothing wrong with that. You deserve it. Give it to yourself. To actually look at it enough to become free of it. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening if you're here in India. Beautiful day if you're somewhere in the West. Sending so, so much love to you from here on the banks of Mother Ganga. We'll see you all on Thursday for Satsang, and then on Friday for meditation.